Good morning, Bears. Today I have with me, here in my studio, a very important guest that I'm excited to introduce to you. The one and the only, Dr. Jordan Peterson. Doctor? Thank you, Aaron. I'm glad to be on. Dr. Peterson, would you like to share some of the thoughts you had on what you came here to talk about today? Well, I see that you have this. I see that you have this shirt that you're trying to market to the people that come to watch what you have to speak about. And I spent a bit of time thinking about this, You know, clothing is not a trivial issue. It's not a trivial issue at all. I mean, what you decide to put on your body says a lot about who you are. So get yourself together. I mean, what good are you? You're probably miserable and wretched and undisciplined and lecherous and deceitful and not kind and lacking in empathy, and maybe you could show love for an animal. Might be the smallest thing that you could do, right? But don't say it. I mean, you're not going to be able to say it at first. You're probably just going to have to wear it. So I'd say go ahead and just wear it and let people see that you love an animal, and at the same time that you have contempt for one of the most failed ideologies that the world has ever seen. I mean, we have mountains of evidence to show that this is ridiculous. This is horrendous. It's no good at all. I mean, just look at the Gulag Archipelago for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is all it'll take. And then you'll be able to see that loving a dog is probably a much higher ethic. My daughter, she had a dog. She loved that dog. She loved it, and it enriched her life. And when that dog passed, it was very difficult. It was very, very difficult for her, but she would rather have loved that dog than not have loved it at all. And that reduced her suffering at least a little bit more, and perhaps reduce some other people's suffering. Maybe you could do that. Maybe you could wear a shirt and reduce someone else's suffering, and maybe be a little bit better than you were yesterday. Well, Dr. Peterson, that's some very wise words. I appreciate that. That's very generous of you to say. Had you had any other thoughts on how people might be able to improve their lives by making better choices in the things that they acquire? Well, materialism, it has its merits, I'd say, but you want to be stupid about it. I mean, it's really easy to be stupid, right? And some people, especially those that might be, I have this friend, and he's a native graphic designer in Texas. And well, he doesn't always do well in the department with ladies, and he seems to think perhaps it's their fault. So he's just going to be overconfident about it, He wants to put his face on a mug and call it ugly, right? When you're putting your face on a mug and calling it ugly, it's not all the women. Not all the women are wrong. It's you. Doesn't matter if you can fill it with plastic shekels and dump them on yourself and tell everybody, look at me, aren't I something special? Right? Doesn't matter. It matters what you do with you, how you get yourself together. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. That's a start. That's at least a start. Don't you want to start something? And so I just wanted to share those thoughts a little bit, think in real time about these issues. And, well, I'm grateful to have come here today to talk about it. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Dr. Peterson. I appreciate that. And folks, on we now go with the show. Good morning, Bears. All right. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of ridiculousness that we could get into before starting. So, hope you'll bear with me. Oh, hey, come back here. There we are. That's what's happening. All right. It is September 21st, 2018, episode 55. And we are here today to discuss bear support. We want to get our support for each other all the better. And I'm just realizing here that I wanted to show you guys something else that was kind of cool today. And all of a sudden, it decided not to function. So, like we've talked about many times before, I'm going to learn to invest in a not gay Jared one of these centuries, and get this program running like a well-oiled machine. You're gonna think the show's German. Yeah, that was a Conan joke from many years ago, but I still find it funny. Actually, I think Andy Richter was the one who threw that joke in there. But yeah, as you can see, we're getting it a little bit different in here. We're using different camera angles now, and well, I'm trying not to get too far away from the mic so you can actually still hear me. But making this show what it was meant to be, more and more interesting, more and more enjoyable, more production value for you guys. I hope everybody enjoyed. I'm not reading the chat at all right now. I'm going to be in a moment, but I can't see it for the life of me. Hey, there we go. That's a chat. It looks like one anyway. A moment. Excuse me. Oh, man. Thank you. I do want to spend some time today, before we get started. More and more FPS. Oh, what is FPS? I'm not sure. Frames per second? Yeah, I'd like to get more and more frames per second. That would be good. Got to get a better camera for that. So as the show grows and as you support the show or bring in, like, subscribe, share, and comment on videos, the show is going to go up in YouTube search results for people. More and more people are going to find out about the show. The more you share it with folks, maybe you've got some folks, some friends, that have got a couple of, I can't even do it. You can see it in the other camera. How do I do this? How do I do that? You're going to have to go like this. Get some folks you can rub a few shekels together. Nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? Right? We'll get up there to that 1,000+ range. And oh my gosh, dude, 106 now is fantastic. I'm super psyched about that. But yeah, it's getting better and better. The more folks we have in here to support the show, the more stuff we can do. And I'm excited about that. Maybe as it grows, we can afford to get a camera in here. And feel free to send the PayPals. Feel free to get yourself a shirt. And I'm looking forward to possibly working with some bears. I'd love to go out and travel to meet some bears. I'd love to go and do a stream with Dom. I'd love to go down to Texas and do a stream with Steve. That would be fantastic, like in person. It's just so much fun, and we could do funny things together. Yes, help me find my own not gay producer. That would be great. And maybe I'll get one that isn't gonna like suddenly leave and go help his pregnant wife. Admirable though it is to take care of your pregnant wife, I think that's a good thing to do. And who knows, maybe there's other medical issues and complications going on that require his attention all the more. I don't know. I'm not saying there are. Yeah, Bareface to Bareface. That could be a good name for that, Andrew J. I kind of like that. I do want to draw everybody's attention to a little something some of you have seen, some of you have not. And so we may not watch the whole thing, but we'll definitely check out some parts. Our very own Kodiak Bear, he produced something wonderful last night. And I've been waiting to see this for a while, and he got it all done. I am overjoyed to have this. It's such an honor. And, I feel as though he's taken himself
to the next level. And B. West knows what I'm talking about. Steve Pender knows what I'm talking about. Some of you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, well, you're about to find out. I'm just going to pull up the YouTube window. We're just going to watch it directly from YouTube. It should work. I hope it works. That, you know, and as I'm beginning to think about it, running to like a live stream plus a download at the same time might draw a little too much on my data. You know, I'm supposed to have like lots of data. Lots. I'm starting to get the Peterson inflections in there. So I'd really like to share this if it will work. If it doesn't, I'll learn to accept it. But if not, I'll just say you gotta go to Kodiak's channel and check out the funniest flipping thing I have seen in a long time. And it's good that I find it funny, because if I didn't, you know, well, I'd just be a stick in the mud, and that's not appropriate. I don't need to be a stick in the mud. Nobody needs that. Yeah, it might work. It might actually function. So I'm going to just pause it and get it ready here. Once it loads up a little bit, I'll pause it. But, oh, this is going to be fun. I really hope we can do this. I really, really do. I had so much fun last night seeing this for the first time. And I remember it was September 11th. I did an episode that day. And I remember asking at the end of the video, I started mentioning like it'd be so funny if somebody actually made a bit out of this. That would be tops. So I think I can do it. I think we're gonna get it happening. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull this up and let's see, add a window. I've got to create a thing here in this deal, and I won't be able to see your chats while we're watching it because I'll be in a completely different window. But window capture, that's what I need. I'm adding it in OBS right now. I didn't think about setting this up before, but boy, it's totally worth it. Yeah, show that. There we go. All right, so bring it up so you guys can see it, right? And we'll fade in. All right, so we're gonna have to check this out because it's flipping funny. I'm gonna turn my mic down while we do. Yeah, it was just wild to wake up and be like, wow, how did I not realize that? So, yeah, and then also, then you've got, resistance is futile at some point, and a couple things. I'll just have to save that for later. That's great. You guys are helping to make this happen. There is a fly buzzing on my head. So flipping funny. It needs to stop. Anyway, yeah, it's gonna feel my wrath. It's gonna feel my power. I'm gonna get you, fly. Oh man, that's awesome. And but I'm just noticing comments. What? And I need to, what did I say? Dude, this is pure genius. Seriously. I'm loving every bit of this. We won't do the whole thing right now. We'll probably do about half and come back. Showing off my metronome. I'm going to spiral because of the fly. Fly? Your minutes are numbered. Fly? The fly spiral. I can feel it get in my feet. And then it likes to go here on my head. You've seen it if you... Yeah, it's a little off from the audio, I think. Flies. Anyway. That's the worst, when they flip and fly in my coffee. Oh. All right. We'll have to stop it there. Because it looks like my data's next to done when I'm doing that. So, yeah, as fun as that is, it seems to not be working out well. And I'm going to get back to the chat. Yeah, I hope everything's back. Cause, did it go bad? Or was it functioning? I'm just checking out what people have been saying. Probably funny things. That's what I suspect anyway. Oh, it's not, I'm doing it now. I'm getting real self-conscious about it now. So it's like 15 minutes and there's a bunch of my spiraling and stuff like that goes on in there. But the way that he layered the ums made it way funnier. I mean, you think, oh, it's just going to be after but it's also little interspersions of other stuff that made it really, really, really funny. Yeah, I can imagine. You got to go watch it yourself. I just wanted to preview it. Go check it out on Kodiak's channel. I can't stop. The fly's good protein. That's hilarious, man. That's too funny. Well, for one thing, I definitely know that you can hear me trying to not do it right now. I want to script my show a little bit better. I want to have specific intended stuff to speak about so that that happens less. There's a little bit less of the stoppage in the... As things move forward, I'm going to want to have less of an umming. You know, it's just a professional thing. So I'm really glad that he did that because it helped me to see myself the way other people might see myself sometimes, and I can laugh at it at the same time. I am fighting it, Steve. You're absolutely right. Just talk about blacks and Jews whenever there's a pause. That's so funny. Yes, the ums won't go away completely. You heard me just cut one off, right? It's like I'm forcing it back. I will have to do some of that at times. That makes it funnier. I'm going to be laughing about that all day now. That's so good, man. Yeah, I was massively honored when I saw that last night. I was glad I was still awake when it came out. So Kodiak's been doing great clips of Owen for a while. He made a couple of them recently of Pinder, which are ridiculously hilarious. But when you get to a point in doing something like this where you're memed or you're parodied in some way, to me, that's a signal that you're having a worthwhile impact. 30 seconds into my stream and you're all drunk. Ooh. That's coffee. Yeah. I actually recently got this package of chocolate peanut butter milk, like a whole bunch of it that was given to us. And that's not something that we typically consume, but it's really, really, really good to add to coffee. All right, I've got some nails in my pocket that I don't want to be in my pocket, or are they not anymore? Oh, yeah, I dropped them on the floor. It's a good place to step on them, and that's definitely something I don't recommend. There we go. It was only one of them. There's probably another. I don't want to spiral over a nail today. That's not going to be a good idea. But please enjoy watching some of that from Kodiak Bear. You can hear me doing it. I can hear myself doing it. I know I'm doing it. But I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it does sound kind of grody based text, and I know it's not too heavily peanut buttery, and I only put a little bit just on the top of the coffee and mixed it in. And that makes it sweetened a little bit, so my coffee's not totally just straight black. I've never really liked just straight black coffee unless it's really good coffee. One of my piano students, which I really need to see how he's doing because he needed to take a break for a while. Pray for Tony. Tony's had some difficulties with his back for a while, and it's made it difficult for him to be able to sit at the piano and learn more. And I know he wants to, but he's also a busy guy a lot of times, so trying to fit it in his schedule can be difficult. But he's a great guy, and every time I've come over, he offers me as much as I'd like of real Kona coffee that he brings back from Hawaii. I mean, this guy is unbelievable, dude. He's a pilot. He's a business owner. He has a mathematical mind that impresses me. And you have to if you're going to be a pilot. I've heard that said by other pilots that I've talked to. I had previously had an interest in it. Every time I'm going to say, now I'm going to crack myself up. Some years ago, I had some interest in looking into getting a pilot's license. Yeah, we'll definitely pray for Mayor's back too. Absolutely. Well, learning about getting a pilot's license, I was told by a number of people that you're doing anywhere between 50 and 70 mathematical calculations a minute in order to keep that plane flying. There are some planes that'll probably do some of that work for you, but you still have to balance all these different calculations, and you have to be maintaining that plane's consistency on the horizon so that you're steering properly. And it's a whole different way of doing that, depending upon what kind of plane. I recently had an opportunity to try out a C-130 flight simulator, and that was something else. I got to check that out, and that's unbelievable, man. I don't know how to fly, let me tell you, but I figured it out. I mean, it's so weird because you go left and right with your feet, and then you roll the plane with the stick. So it's a different thing. It's like your steering wheel would normally be in your hands, but not when you're doing an airplane. It's different. It's very different. So I even had the opportunity to land in this simulator, and I didn't totally die. I stayed mostly upright, but I did go in the grass quite a bit. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Dom, you trade? What do you trade? Oh, did you mean traitor? Was that what you were thinking? Did he, what's the word I'm looking for? Betray you in some way, Honky? I'm just reading chats here. 4 best answers. It was 4. Yeah. They're no joke. There's autism in the grass. Well, by my flying, one might have thought. So, that's entirely possible. That's funny. I've never heard of a C-123. That's interesting. I'm sure they're out there. I've just never heard of them or seen them. I've seen lots of different kinds of airplanes, ones that are well-known. C-5s, C-17s, KC-135, refuelers, these kind of things that people know about. I'm just thinking through. I'm not saying anything that's not, already public domain information, but not that I know much that isn't, right? I'm not one of those. But, yeah, this guy's a pretty cool guy, this student of mine, and I hope he's well. I look forward to coming back over to his house sometime and continuing his lessons, because he's a neat cat, very neat cat, and he has the potential to get really, really, really good and enjoy music as an outlet. I'll be seeing him gigging around the area in a few years now. Pistachio muffin. Not my first choice, but not bad. Not what I would think was like, oh yeah, I want to get a pistachio muffin. That's actually not too bad. Well, it's mostly carbohydrates, eh? And you're probably not going to be very happy if you keep eating things like that. And I've been eating just steak, just meat, no greens for a while now. And my gums have improved, and I can wake up in the morning. I had a horrible time waking up in the morning. It was terrible. I'd have to drag myself to the shower. Thanks for that, Captain. It was so much fun. So much fun to throw in a little JBP ad. And now it's time, before we get on to the topic here, because we're not going to spend an hour and a half today. I have other things I have to get to today, so we're probably going to shoot for an hour. When you think about it, one of the most important things you could do in life is get one of these. And those of you that already have, I'm so grateful. I can't wait until these things get out there and people are wearing them. And I believe they should ship by October 2nd. I think that's what we established the other day when we checked the site. So that's a thing. That's fixing to happen. And you can love chunk and hate communism appropriately and let other people know how much you have a contempt for a failed ideology. But you don't have to do it in just red. You can do it in green, blue, gray, and white. I couldn't even say it for a minute. So there's the red, white, and blue, and then the green and the gray. If you want to go outside that. People like Harold Green, they probably want to go for the green. I get that. That's consistent. It's logically consistent, eh? But he's going to do that. That'd be cool. If you're a real weirdo, then you might be compelled to go for one of these. I don't always understand that. I don't know why people would want to get something like that, let alone 2 of them. I mean, it's not like I told him that I want to get 2 of them and use them on my show, because, I have some degree of self-respect, and, it's... Well, Dr. Peterson, I think, analyzed that pretty well, like people who want to put their face on a mug. It's... It's not good. It's not good at all, Captain Cutler. Right. Maybe if my Peterson impressions make it out there a little bit, he'll be flattered, and he'll be willing to come on and talk with me for a little while. I mean, oh my gosh, who am I? Who am I in the world that I could ever get a chance to talk to that guy, to ask him questions in person? But he's just a guy. He's just a human being. Nothing particularly special, although most of us would say, I'm transitioning back to the wrong thing. Ha! I don't know what I'm doing. Ha 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 ha! I can't do the Big Bear, obnoxious laugh like he does. That's pretty funny. See, my ums almost get into Shapiro territory. You know, maybe he's next. Maybe he's the next one on the chopping block of impressions. It's entirely possible. But you know, quite a good one might be Colonel David Grossman talking like this. Let you know that you're a sheepdog. You want to protect the sheep. Love the sheep. Got to stop the wolves. That's the way Colonel Grossman would have talked to you. Just like this. Oh, man, that one took a moment to think about. I really want to do that one right. So, yep. Got to be a good sheepdog. Oh, yeah, I'll have to think about that one. I have to get some material for the Colonel Grossman. Because that's another guy it would be amazing to chat with. Man, you guys give me great ideas. And I got to tell you, some things pertaining to today's topic. Let's enunciate. Let's be precise in our speech, eh? Yes, Dr. Peterson, I need to be precise in my speech. Today, we've identified some areas where we can support other bears. You could set up me and Colonel Grossman talking. Steve, are you serious? I mean, that would be wild. If he would ever want to come on a show, or if I could even get a chance to do it off air and record something with him, a one-on-one talking, that would be incredibly honoring to me. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you. Got nothing but respect for that guy, but I'd have to do some thinking about what I want to talk about. That's stepping it up, man. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to see him in person before. I think I shook his hand once back in 2009. Like I'd mentioned before, he came to our air base in Peoria, and I'd just gotten off third shift, but I was told, you're going to the Bulletproof Mind class today. You're slated to go do that training. I was like, okay. All right. But I didn't know what I was in for, and that was some of the most incredible stuff I'd ever seen. So he's a neat guy. I'd have to really go back and review some things and find out what I'd like to talk to him about. But that would be incredible. That would be an unbelievable experience to get to talk with him. So, yeah, thank you for even offering that, Steve. That's fantastic. So, I'm just going to have to mock myself every time now. This is the deal. How do we support other bears? How do we do that? Part of what I've been doing, hashtag Let Big Bear Stream, has been, well, what we ought to do is one of these. Hashtag Let Big Bear Stream, right? Episode after episode. That's what I'm keeping up until we see him back on YouTube streaming, because we bears miss it. We want it back. We're kind of missing the streaming, though he's probably taking a little bit of a break since he's doing the touring and everything. And it's probably good to decompress his head and get away from social media and all of that stuff for a while. And maybe, I mean, who knows? Maybe he won't come back. Maybe he'll figure it's not for him. You know, it's better that he not do it. Maybe he's enjoying life more that way. I mean, he's gotten to do some hilarious stuff with Crowder. Those of you that haven't seen his bit on Alex Jones' show doing the weather, that was hilarious. And then somebody else put a video out the other day in the Unbearables app with him, with a more extended portion of their interview. I haven't seen the full interview yet, but I'd love to watch that because they were playing off each other really well. And I think somebody else said it. I don't remember who in the chat there, but Owen was definitely reducing Alex's shirt tearing tendencies. You know, it wasn't going crazy like we're trying to stop the interdimensional vampires. Every minute of every episode we can stop and we can just talk about the orthodoxy and how they're trying to control everything you think, say, and do when you're in a modern educational institution like university. And Owen Benjamin, he's one of the best comedians out there right now. He's standing up against tyranny on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. I think Jack Dorsey at Twitter, he banned him for making comments about David Hogg that weren't sexualized, but people were calling it that. So that's about as unhinged as he got the entire show, you know, and at least in the bits that I've seen. But it's tough to do Alex Jones and not like have to cough every second. Had to hold that back. So I have to figure out. Yeah, it's a little more gruff and you got the Texas in there, but it's like Texas combined with Northerner somewhere in there. It's probably really Bill Hicks with a mask on or some plastic surgery or something. No, I'm kidding. There's all kinds of conspiracy theories about that Alex Jones is really Bill Hicks. I don't think that's the case. The more I've looked at it, like I see how they think so, and it is compelling to some degree. But subdued Texas, yes, we're on Infowars.com. I don't know. My Alex gets funny. To me, I find it amusing. And I'm finding out through this process with you guys a way that I can support bears by doing impressions. Like I know that I've had some degree of ability for it, but I'm discovering ones that I had never thought of doing. And now I'm starting to think about how I can develop material for it. Like for today. Let's see. I actually had like notes I was going over for the Peterson stuff. Like I actually had some stuff sketched out a little bit. Like, okay, make sure you make references to these things or those things and, you know, twist them for the situation appropriately. But it helped me get through that a lot better. Oh yeah. The first issue of that clip. You're right, Kodiak. It did. I was playing the new one, but it skips a lot. You know, when I'm trying to do it through OBS and put it out here. Everybody, big hand for Kodiak. That was fantastic. Dude, I was dying. I was crying. I even mentioned it in the original comments. Like I had to run to the restroom. That was so funny. The laughter was killing my bladder. That was awesome. It was humbling and it was honoring all at the same time. So grateful for that, dude. Yeah, and I have since seen the newer version, and I know you put a link in the comment section of the old one for the new version. So very, very, very appreciative of that. That is so funny, and it was worth the wait. No, well, it was 15 minutes, and so yeah, it was long, but it was funny. Like I can sit there and go through that. Like I have no problem. I think there might be some people who'd be like, okay, to listen to ums for that long kind of gets old. I'm doing them while I'm talking about it. That's hilarious. I can't get away from it. I can't stop, man. I'm addicted. I'm addicted to the ums. Oh, I'm getting some new folks just following me on Instagram there. Thanks, you Tiger Killim. Appreciate that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it was so funny, Kodiak. Really, really, really good. If you ever want to do some short bits, you know, just short bits of the fly freakouts, or if there's other things that you found that were funny, if you find any clips that are just me talking about a point seriously, and you want to put that out there, that'd be great. That'd be fun. You know, I'm happy for people to make clips, and that's playing right into what I'm talking about today. Ways that bears support bears. I saw Owen get kicked off, and so immediately my thought was, we need to support him. You know, it needs to be up there every day. Let Big Bear stream. You know, we're gonna scream it out every chance we get. We're gonna shout down the WOJCICKI fascism. We're gonna knock down the Jack Dorsey junk and crap that he wants to throw out there. And oh, that's good. That's funny. Hashtag too. Oh, well, at least it's not pound too. But I'm gonna caveat this real quick. So I was mentioning it to some of the folks. Pound me too, right? I was talking with a few of you in Hangouts last night. Yes, there's the link from Kodiak. Go ahead and check out the new updated version of Fly Away, because it was so flippin' hilarious. Honky bear, pound harder. I was on the Hangouts with folks, and I got an email toward the end of our conversation offering me a gig a couple hours away from here, and they want me to potentially come and play drums along with a DJ to provide rhythm for a fitness class called Pound. And I think it's some kind of fitness that involves people using drumsticks. I don't know all the deal. I told them, I put out a message to them, and I gave them my contact information, but I haven't heard back from them yet. Maybe they didn't see it in the message. Maybe I'll have to resend it, or they just didn't decide to consider me, which is also fine. But I did put my rates out there. I said, well, it's a over 2 hour drive there and another 2 hour drive back. So that's going to be a tank of gas for me. I'll say $150. So $100 for an hour of learning your music and playing through with you, and then $50 to pay for my gas there and back. That's fair. Good compensation, you know. Yeah, I'm just trying to think through that real quick. It's like 60 something for the hour, you know, is reasonable. Or no, I'm sorry. That's not what I was trying to say. Yeah, it's about what I charge. That's about what I charge, you know. 60 something for an hour. 66, 67. So we'll see if they like that. If they don't, that's understandable. Not everybody wants to, but you know, for my time, I have to set a decent rate. If you're gonna have me come that far away and invest a lot of my talent and skills, it's probably fair. Have I ever worked for less? Yeah, but I don't want to keep setting that trend. You know, I need to appropriately price myself, and it's still way low. I could still do a lot more. You know, I originally thought about setting it a chunk higher there, because that's a lot of investment, you know, and there's other things I could be doing. But excuse me, itchy ear. There's a fly in my headphone. No, I'm kidding. Mr. Nick Town. You're always dogging on people if they haven't liked the video yet. That's so funny, man. Yeah, exactly. I don't have a problem telling people I'm not going to take that, you know, because I've got other things that I can be doing, and I have to value what I'm doing appropriately. And if that means I don't get certain things, okay. But there's certain other things that I value more, right, than just money for a gig. And I have other ways of earning income. I have other ways of doing that than just going and playing a gig. I teach kids, you know, I do this hilarious stuff, so much fun stuff on this show, which I love to do. And I have a t-shirt that many of you have started to buy, which is so much, yeah, turning. Oh, wow. I didn't think I'd get called a prostitute in my own stream, but I shouldn't put it past bears. I really ought not to do that. I think I should have learned that lesson by now. That's funny. Yeah, there's a way you can support bears turning tricks. Yeah, I think they call it turning tricks there. So Kodiak does a great job supporting bears. Dude, Steve, that's awesome. See, Steve just supported a bear. But I was saying Kodiak supports bears by creating these clip videos. And that takes these longer form hour to an hour and a half, and in Big Bear's case, 3 hour streams, and takes little sections or portions of them out so that people that may not be fans yet can get into them better. And then the more of you that take those and share them around, the more places those are put at. So something as simple as uploading videos or clips of other folks, other bears and stuff to your stream and making links to it, whatever you can do, builds the notoriety of different bears who are starting to get into streaming. Big Riggin Bear started doing some streaming this week, and I kind of like what he has to do in there. He's he's definitely getting off starting in a cool way, like doing videos from the road in his truck. That's awesome. That's so cool, because I think that it's very easy to be in your area of life, what it is you're doing day to day, and sort of get into a bubble about it. The left does that constantly. They continue to live in an echo chamber of what they're up to. And they might get experientially into other bubbles, in a sense, learning about different walks of life that people have, but not deeply investing in understanding what that's about. And, you know, I can't speak for all. I'm sure there's people out there that would say that they're more left in their political ideology, that are intelligent, smart, compassionate people, like actually compassionate, that maybe haven't totally lost their mind and are interested in dialogue, right? And are interested in learning, recognizing that they can learn something that might inform their perspective about the way other people live. So it's neat to me, right, to see how people like that are truck drivers live their life. It's neat to me. It'd be cool. Very happy. You know, she's putting out videos from time to time talking about her life doing the florist business that she's involved with up there, amongst other things. And that's kind of neat. You know, it's pretty interesting to see, because I don't live that life every day, especially not up in Alaska, which is beautiful. It's unbelievable up there. So, you know, if you don't know about Very Happy, feel free to check her out. She gets into some serious talks about things sometimes, and has some worthwhile things to say. You've got, of course, the indomitable, ugly mugged Steve Pinder, who is apparently rocking with the ladies, you know, far more than me, and even feels it appropriate to maybe knock on my door a little bit and let me know that I'm a handsome man. I'm just saying, this happened. You know, I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not George Washington, but I don't think I should lie about it. I think I just forgot to put the garbage out. I hear the garbage truck out there. We're not full. We'll last a week, but I forgot to do that. Anyway. Yes. All of these different streams and people that are building themselves up. There's a Vet Bear who puts some things out from time to time, which I enjoy. There's plenty of other people that I'm starting to forget, you know, that I'm not remembering to mention, that have started streaming or doing some video uploads and different things like that. And if we can support them, we can keep this community moving and attaining things that we never thought it would be attaining. So there are plenty of us that probably enjoy being on camera, plenty that don't. But if you can find ways to send more stuff, like the Bear Cave is a huge deal for that. Coddington and the rest of the people who have fronted the Bear Cave are doing a huge deal by creating stuff like that to get bears involved in different stuff, specifically to support Owen. But I think we also need to support each other through that type of endeavor as well. So when we go into each other's streams and we throw out fun comments and commenting on a video, that's one thing I was thinking about. Being in the chat, love that. Super supportive of that, super appreciative of that. It's always good to do the littlest thing you can do and then grow that. You know, I've talked about that in other streams where I've said it's important to see how you can grow yourself in various different ways. How you can improve upon what you're doing in life. And if what you're doing in life is to build somebody else up, how can you build somebody else up better? How can you do it in such a way that improves the overall reduction of suffering even more? So you just chip away at it just a little bit at a time. And today I'd like to sort of put this out to you guys. What other kinds of things can we do to see bears that have decided to dig into doing this show stuff? Help them to do that more effectively. Help them to grow what they're doing in their niche so that they make it... Honky. Oh, man. This is a good way. Throwing ridiculous comments into a chat that get me cracking up. So let's enumerate what we've talked about thus far. If you've got a talent or an interest of some kind, or your day-to-day job, and you're able to bring your phone along and catalog some of it, whether it's live or whether it's pre-recorded and you put it up later, learn how to do that. Share your stuff on YouTube. Share your thoughts and your comments. Just be open to sharing your mind, and, you know, stand up to be counted that you're against certain things, because you're adding to the wealth of information about what people think about communism, socialism, capitalism, freedom, actual freedom to self-determine your life, to pursue truth as you see fit. You're advocating that every time that you put that stuff out there, that you communicate, that you use words, right? That keeps us just that further step back from drawing a sword, right? We don't want to do that. We don't want to get there. We've done plenty of that in our society. When we have to, we'll be ready to draw down, right? We'll be ready to do what we've got to do if someone's going to attack us or our family. Of course, no question. But because a lot of people can listen and they're interested in watching and listening to videos, the more you are willing to stand up and speak in whatever small way you can and share, this is what my life is like, you know, in what ways are appropriate and okay for you, right? Maybe you don't want to get too open about that. Maybe you have personal situations where it wouldn't be prudent to do that, and that's fine. But if you do have the situation where it makes sense for you to do that, you can find a way to build that in some way where it can now be a revenue stream for you a little bit. You can put something out there for somebody through the digital medium, offer something of value, and expect to get something appropriate in return. Build something for yourself through pursuits like this, right? Start small. Don't expect like everything, but expect from yourself first to grow what it is you put out there. And when you're seeking to do something to benefit others, you're naturally going to be rewarded for that. Like, it's just one of those laws of how this stuff works. Over time, the more that you organize yourself properly in doing endeavors like this, the natural outpouring of that is that you'll see financial return in some of that if you build that into how you're setting things up. But, you know, you don't just have to do this. You don't have to you may not want to pursue a kind of side gig or anything like this, doing stuff on YouTube and putting videos out there, whatever it be. You may not want to do that, but there's probably some manner of expression that benefits somebody else. If you think through what it is your life is about and what you want it to be, what you don't want it to be, and you share that with other people, you can encourage them just through that process of doing it. So we've got this platform, this kind of stuff. Maybe if you've got coding abilities like Coder and Coddington and folks like that, you could create a new platform, another platform out there that is an end run on some of this stuff. You know, if they decide to continue to close down on people like Big Bear and they're not going to get federally regulated like telecom stuff or whatever the case may be with the future of that, then you know, who knows what we may need other platforms to operate in, to continue to speak truth and pursue freedom. But what else can we do? What else have we talked about? You can support other people's streams. You know, you can get their shirts. You can get their mugs. You can shoot them PayPals. Whatever you want to do. Just do it to Big Bear. Do it to plenty of other bears that you're fans of. Like, subscribe, comment, and share, right? All of those things are hugely important, right? Because when you interact with it in some small way, sharing it and helping them build their community, right? Helping build the community that you're a part of. You're not just doing it for them, you're doing it for you, because you are potentially giving somebody else an opportunity to see something that you enjoyed and take part in it and get the joy out of it and the satisfaction out of it that you have. Maybe they won't understand all of it, but they might get something, right? They might get something. Now they're interested in having a conversation that they previously weren't. We could have conversations about the conversations that conversatively all the time. And hashtag not a cult. Yes, thank you, Kodiak. But let's see. You can do all those things. Those are free. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. You can do that free of charge, and it's a wonderful thing. No, I mean that not to hawk my stuff, which, you know, I don't feel any guilt over. It's a good thing to do because, like I said, it supports the stream. But the reason that I'm mentioning that is because you guys can do the same stuff, right? You guys can be putting ideas and things out there, artwork or funny memes. Maybe you're a meme creator. Maybe you like to do stuff like that. Maybe you like to be like Kodiak and you can create clip videos and stuff like that too. And it doesn't have to be about you at all. I mean, how many of us really think about Kodiak as much when we're watching his videos? He does it to support other people. His channel is all about the stuff he likes from other folks, right? That's huge. That's hilarious to me. That's a servant heart and an attitude there, which I really, really appreciate. I'm kind of conceited, you know. I have to be up here on camera, and I openly admit that I enjoy doing that. I think anybody who's a performance artist of any kind has a little bit of a narcissistic bent in there. There's a degree of that. You have to have a little bit of a desire. For me to stare at the screen and see my own face and not be in total disgust constantly means that I'm not Steve Pender. No, I'm sorry. It means that I have some degree of narcissistic bent within me, some small degree of it, and I'm aware of that. But I know what you're saying. Oh boy. I want to farm this out to you guys today in the last few minutes because I think I'm going to let it go for another 5 to 10 and then we're going to call it. But pop some ideas in the chat because I haven't been able to see it for a little bit. What's an idea you guys might have on how you can support other bears beyond what I've already said, making your own channel and videos or liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing onto other people's videos, creating, I don't know, physical products that like sending packages to folks like Big Bear or other stuff of something cool that they'd appreciate. Shekel baths. That's probably a good way to help bears. That's a great idea. Interview each other. I love that. Well, and that kind of plays into the YouTube stuff, you know, creating your thing, but doing interviews is in a subcategory of that would be, yeah, interview each other. I agree. And there are going to be those coming. That's definitely fixing to happen. And I see a number of people who are part of this community that like to do that. The Steve Pender Collins show on, is it Tuesdays and Thursdays now that you do the nighttime ones? Is that right? Let's see here. Just looking through some comments. Oh, Inspector. You know what? I didn't make responses to those yet, but no, I appreciated both. Because for those of you that are curious, Kikya and Inspector did make comments on my video about talking about Norm Macdonald apologizing and such, and I really enjoyed their participating in that. I enjoyed seeing their thoughts on that. In fact, I'm going to pull that up real quick if it'll let me. I might. It's going to be slow, but I'll get there. So, yeah, I'm going to try to pull up their comments and read them to you. Hey, it says I'm live right now. By the way, I've got to put up a different picture on yesterday's video. And thumbnails I usually change from the Let Big Bear stream until after the episode is over. No, it's just it's a good thing to do. Get a thumbnail that is a little more in keeping with what that episode's about. But I like having the hashtag Let Big Bear stream up, you know, while the stream is going. I dig that part. All right, so pause the video. I was looking back at it the other day. I got a downvote on that one. Somebody sent me a downvote or a dislike on that episode 53 from a couple days ago. Somebody didn't like something. I like that though. Hey, that's cool. Yeah, it's a badge of honor right there. All right, so Kikya said, I think an apology, because I should preface that my question was, in light of the power and the responsibility that we have to be in control of our thoughts and our actions, and that comes right out of 2 Corinthians 10:5, what degree of responsibility should we assume for the thoughts and emotions of others in response to the way we in response to the things we say, right? When others react in some emotional way to the things we say, what responsibility should we assume for that, if any? And then I said, what is the purpose of an apology, and when is it warranted? When can an apology be inappropriate for you to give and for another to receive? So Kikya had something to say. She said, you were spot on the point about you being in control of your feelings. No one can make you feel anything. Your thoughts are on any given topic controls your feelings, and you control your thoughts. A feeling is just a thought you have thought many times over. Thoughts into feelings, feelings into beliefs, beliefs into actions. That's her view on that, and I like that. She also had to say, as a separate comment, not a response, but just a separate comment, I think an apology, well, this is in direct response to my question. I think an apology is two-part. One for you, so you can acknowledge when you screwed up and forgive yourself for knowing you made amends. And one for the other person, so they can acknowledge their feelings and let go of their anger or hurt. Inspector Bear says, my definition of an apology, admittance of wrongdoing, whether the act was through action or verbiage, to the person having wrong done upon them, that victim of said wrongdoing. That's who you make it to, is what he's saying. So the time to apologize, it would be when the person who committed the wrongdoing, the actor, feels they have sincerely hurt the victim and legitimately feels remorseful for the act in question, and only solely to the victim. The time not to apologize, one, he says, when beings other than the victim or the victim, when beings other than the victim or the victim force the actor to apologize, or the actor does not sincerely feel remorse for their actions. Like, there's no point to do it if you're actually not sorry, right? And it's inappropriate to be forced to do it by either the people other than the victim or even the victim. Secondly, when the victim is not readily available to apologize, to including but not limited to the non-existence of a victim. So when the victim is not even around, that might be inappropriate. So like the Norm Macdonald situation, that speaks to it quite well. There was no specific victim. There was an imagined victim, all those that would be hurt by the fact that you said the word retarded, that's horrendous. How could you use the R word? Or no, he said Down syndrome. Excuse me. He used the DS word. The DS word. That cracks me up. I just cracked myself up. So I appreciated those. Both of you guys. I really appreciated that. That was pretty cool. And I think you were spot on with what you were saying. It's there's definitely occasions, I think, as well, when it's totally inappropriate. And the Norm situation was that, I think, because there wasn't really a specific victim, because he didn't really do anything to attack anybody at all. And for producers of Jimmy Fallon Show to be crying over his comments is, yeah. So we've talked about that, but what Kikya and what Inspector did there, that was big support of what I'm doing, and it's support of all of you, because it gets our thoughts stirred up, right? Gets us to actually think, to use this gray matter in here, and hopefully expand the thinky parts of it. I think that's a useful pursuit, right? So we've talked about a few different ways that we can support each other. Hangouts is a great way. I think we have good talks in the Hangouts. I know I had a good talk with Steve Pinder and with Killswitch Bear, and B West was in there, and Kiki was there yesterday, and we were having a good conversation about some things. And Killswitch, if you're listening, I hope you were encouraged through some of that, because I know you were voicing some things with us, and life for a lot of people throughout most of history stinks a lot of times. We have a lot of hurdles to go over. I know hurdles, even like actual hurdles, can be very unpleasant. I ran hurdles in my 7th grade track year and was setting like new records for the school doing it. That's not one of these. That's not what that's about. That's just saying I had an opportunity to do that, and I did it. Of course, it was the first year they had the event, and the very next year other people broke those records. So, it's not like I'm puffed up about that particularly. I just mention it because I had an opportunity to do something, and I tried to do the best I could imagine doing with it. In the midst of all that, I still, even when I was doing well, I still could do poorly. I remember totally blowing a meet one time because I hooked a hurdle with my foot and I went down, and that sucked. I did not want to get up from that. Not at all. I just sort of stayed there for a minute. I was like, fudge. That wasn't fun. Tripping on a hurdle, not fun. I don't recommend it. So if it works with literal hurdles, I suspect that in real life, the figurative hurdles can be even more impacting in a negative way. It's worse than physically hitting the ground. When people experience that kind of stuff, if we can come around bears and build them up, to help encourage them in taking hold of so much of the wonderful information that's out there now about how you can improve your life, that's how it happens. We are our own cheerleaders for each other, right? Excuse me. We don't even have to put out to the football team. We just we just have to support. We just have to do the cheering. And regular cheerleaders, by the way, shouldn't be doing that. Let's make that clear before I end up on The View apologizing for that statement. It was a joke. But they'll probably call me on the carpet for like mansplaining or cheer inequality in some way. I'm sure that's going to become a thing. So what other things can you think of that bears could use? What other ways could bears be encouraged? Do you have some sort of craft that you do regularly? When you see a bear that's having a rough time, if you're a florist, or if you knit, it might club in soon. You guys are cracking me up. Well, that would turn them into prostitutes, not cheerleaders. That's a different thing. I might disagree with you on that, Best Answers. I don't think we should be encouraging that. But male cheerleaders do apologize on The View. That's funny. That's quite possible. That's quite possible. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Gosh darn it. Squirrels everywhere. Oh, adult ones? Okay. So funny. High five marathons. High five marathons could be good. Yeah, we're finding opportunities to. I'm not sure what you mean by high five marathon, Inspector, but I got an image in my mind, of different group hangouts and things like that where we build each other up. Could be a good thing. I'd like to get music going with different bears. That's a goal over the next few months here, to connect with bears, write some great music, and put together live performance stuff that we could take and do on the road. We could meet up different places, maybe save up stuff from PayPals and t-shirt sales and other things that we do that bears can buy into to support. Then we take that money, turn it around, and make a DVD special, high production value. We really try to get good stuff out there, and then we can market it, and put a lot of that right back into what we do in the bear community. You know, it'd be cool to see like a bear emergency fund. You know, like Owen says, hey, you know, if there's a person that's really in trouble and having problems, I'll give him $100, you know, and square him away. And I have no problem doing that if you really need it. So things like that would be cool. And if maybe that's something we could add to the bear cave, like the bear emergency fund and some conditions for the usage of that. You know, how could we support other bears with the BEF? Although that drags along with it some awkward things, because, you know, once you start getting into some of that, there's gonna be people that are not happy with it. There's gonna be some issues. It's not as simple as it sounds, the bigger that we get. But I don't know, just the desire to want to improve the quality of life for people, to encourage them to rise above their circumstances, to put themselves together. Put yourself together. Stand up straight. Gosh. I mean, it's just awful. I mean, you're miserable, right? Right? You're miserable and you're wretched and you're undisciplined. You're lecherous and deceitful. You're not kind. You're lacking in empathy. I mean, maybe you could show love to someone, maybe a bear, some kind of animal. But don't say it. You can't do that yet. Just, you know, mildly attempt to not foul it up. Not say things that make you weak. Oh, man. Somebody was saying to me that it was like a combination between Kermit and Liam Neeson. That's where it ends up falling. So good. See, that's awesome right there, Old Bear. When you have a skill and you see, yeah, shaking the table. Oh, yes, Jordan Peterson's much like Julia Child. He's not far off. Yes. That's going to happen, by the way. There's going to be a Jordan Peterson reading of... Sorry, I'm getting distracted from what Old Bear said, but I'm going to get back to that here in a moment. Lost my train of thought completely. Where did I go? Okay, so I'm going to abandon what I was doing. People that have skills, like helping somebody organize their resume, and then they offer to help them get it better when they see someone that needs help with that. That's awesome, right? People who have an entrepreneurial bent and they're trying to create a company, they're trying to build it. You have a wealth of people right here, and you get to learn about their skill sets and what they're good at, what they're not, how they can build themselves up, encourage them to be on a track of growth, to improve themselves. There's so much more that this community is capable of, right? And I mean, I don't even think we've touched the surface of what this community is capable of. I think that, is it going to be like the Freemasons and the Illuminamish, you know? I don't think quite that. I don't know if we're going to get to have secret rituals and stuff. We kind of have our own. We kind of call Pinder a Jollet wearing, shekel hoarding, weather control and Jew. But that's, you know, we say Dom's always begging for a wrench, you know, and ought to have it taken away just on principle. But yeah, those are some of our traditions. Those are some of our rituals, which we enjoy. We often like to talk about bikes getting stolen, you know, by people of persons of color that aren't really persons of color, but are in fact prime ministers of Canada. That's a ritual amongst our community. I think that's an appropriate one. So, are we ever going to become that kind of a B West? B West just fully mooned me. That's great. I love it. She fully mooned all of you. I'm not alone in that. I get to share that with you guys. we get to see furries and see how they're doing. I think I saw Charity had popped in here earlier in the beginning of the stream before I got it started. It's a backtrap. You're looking to hire a bear or a furry? Yes, we subsequently have learned how to tie up Asians and put them in the back of our truck. We now have a how-to video on that process. Well, it's not so much about the tying up part, but how you go about what it looks like once it's happened. You have an example of it. Let's put it that way. There's Kodiak's next video. Let's put it that way. My let's put it that way moments, right? No, I'd really like to see a thoughtful one. Any one of my speeches, Kodiak, that you really enjoyed, where I got into a particular point in depth and encouraged you or somebody else, I'd love to see that discussed. And then maybe throw in some ums and some, no, let's put it that way, is at the end. That'd be funny. But, you know, whatever you create, your stuff, the way you create things is awesome. Who doesn't want a tied up Asian in the back of their car? I mean, come on, that's what this community's all about. They're earning up all the daggone money, know their math way too well. Shoot. I mean, and if you care about your pets, if you love Chunk, right, you're going to make sure that there are fewer people trying to put him on the menu, right? So one more Asian tied up in the back of your truck ensures that there's just a little bit less chance that Chunk will end up being on somebody's table, right? If you love that dog, you're going to get that shirt and say, I hate communism. I hate the eating of dogs. You don't want it to become like Soviet Russia, where you are not true man unless you eat dog. I eat my dog. Right? You don't want that to happen. That's not how we do things here in this country. Get your red dog eating commie gobbledygook out of here. All right. So we're getting pretty darn close to what I said we weren't going to get close to. So I am going to land this plane. Like, subscribe, share, comment. And today's commenting, I'll try to put the initial comment in once the video finally uploads, because when it gets to be this long, it takes a while until it's fully processed and uploaded. But what I'd like for you to do is drop an idea in there about how we support bears. What things can you do? Give an example, right, of how you can support other bears. Not just Big Bear, because we do want to do that, of course. But how do we support each other? How do we grow this community? How do we bring this community to a place of doing things we never thought it could do, right? We have the ability to stand in the gap between the people of this country that don't get it, right? That don't get the precipice we stand on every day, and those that would seek to push us over that precipice. We are the ones standing there, right? Anytime you do one of these things, you are serving to stand up and be counted and say, this far and no further, right? This is it, period. And we're pushing it back to where it was. We're pushing it back where it belongs. Not bringing along bullcrap from the past, right? Recognizing, okay, putting people into bondage because they happen to belong to a particular ethnic group, not a good deal, right? That's not okay. Can we disagree with a homosexual lifestyle? Sure. If we have a biblical worldview and we say we're not exactly in full agreement with that, fine. But that doesn't mean we have to treat any person that chooses to live that way with disrespect. We can love them, right? They're our friends. They're our family. Do what you're going to do. Do your thing. And we're going to do ours. And let us live at peace, right? As best we can. That's what our country's founded to do, right? Now, if somebody happens to be of another completely different religious worldview, right? Can we love them as well? Bring them into the fold in a sense? Of course, as long as they're not trying to subvert the way that this world goes, or I should say this country goes, right? They're not trying to completely subvert the culture. Are there aspects of their culture that could be cool? Sure. But if there's aspects that say, guess what? You have to go along with all the precepts of my culture or die. Sorry, pass. Not, shouldn't be accepted for me if that was something in my culture, which it's not, by the way. Hey, Charity, good to see you. But we're landing the plane. It's been a good day. It's been a good talk. Good ideas. How do we support bears? Feel free to share. I'd love to see that. And, well, I'd also like to see where I put my iTunes. Oh, there's where I put it. So, until next time, bears, engage your mind, engage your body, and engage your heart, and seek to serve the ultimate purpose. Love you guys. Love hanging out with bears. And there should be music playing right now, but there isn't, because I'm not a Not Gay Jared. Support the bears, support streams. See how you can help this show become all that it was ever meant to be. Love you guys, and we will see you next week. Looking forward to a new interview. All right, bears. Pieces to you.